Hello everyone. Welcome to the Small Business Assessment and Planning Framework webinar. By the end of this session, you will be able to articulate a clear and concise value proposition that's your core product offering, your ideal customer avatar, your unique value proposition, and an avoid and achieve messaging. You're also going to be able to detail specific gaps and opportunities for improvements in your sales, marketing, and operations, as well as identify and prioritize the strategies and tactics in your business which can be most quickly launched with minimum investment and measurable ROI. You're going to know the scope and be able to plan the work needed to execute your priority strategy with the planning framework. So it's nice to meet everyone here today. Thank you again. A little about me. My name is Debbie Katzmar. I am the owner and marketing strategist for PRowl Communications. I'm married. I have 3 adult boys, well, millennials. Imagine that, eh? And I love my owls. You'll figure that out the more you get involved with myself and my business. Everything about what I do is owls. If you want to know the owl story, you can visit my website, ProwlCommunications.com. In the bottom corner on the right, you'll find a little black and yellow owl. If you click that, you'll get the story behind the owls in my life. So I started my business when I was 24 years old. I was a single mom of, at the time, 2 young boys. I had just been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, had to quit my job about 2 years before this. And when I started getting healthy again, I found that I needed to work to support myself and the children, but I wasn't actually able to go into the workforce. So I started my own business. It was a graphic design company at the time, and wow, the difference in that world versus this world is something else. Computers had just come out. Prior to that, I got paid to color. When you needed a logo, I hand drew it and presented that, and if you liked it, that's how we developed the printing work from it. So things have really changed. So I've been where you are. I'm still there sometimes. My business, 30 years old, but it changes, and every time you turn around, you're reinventing the wheel in order to compete in the marketplace, get more customers, get more sales. It's an ongoing challenge. It doesn't change, so be prepared for that. But what you can do now to try and avoid some of it is put some systems in place, some automation in place. Know your product, know your services, and know how to reach your target audience. And we're going to help you with that today, and that's what PRowl's all about. So let's get going. So a little bit more about PRowl Communications and myself, actually. So one of my things in life is I always feel the need to help people. So my business, I'm sure, could be doing a lot better if I just went about providing the service that you're paying for, and that be it. But unfortunately for me, and fortunately for you, I go above and beyond. I care about your business almost as much as you do. I'm forever helping my clients, giving them that extra bit of help that they need, giving them extras. Almost every one of my clients says that same thing about me. I'm always doing more than I need to be doing. But it's because I care. I care about you. I care about your business. So our purpose is really to help small businesses and medium-sized businesses survive and thrive. We recently just changed our purpose to that. And partly because of a book I read. And I really recommend that you read this book if you haven't already. It's by, it's a New York Times bestselling author, Donald Miller. It's called Building a Story Brand. And it helps you clarify your message so customers will listen. And honestly, what's written in this book is not new by any means, but he certainly has a way of making you understand how to get your message out to your potential customers. So I'm not going to give you all the details of the book, but once you start reading it, you'll get where I got the Survive and Thrive from. So our mission is to take the headache out of your marketing automatically. And again, as we progress through this webinar and you get to know me further later on, I hope, you'll understand also how much automation can save you time and energy and keep your customers a lot happier because things are just being done. You set it up once and it goes. You got to love that. And you'll be more organized. You'll be on top of all of your customers and your prospects as well. So we really try to make your marketing as easy as possible. And that's whether you're doing it and we're helping, or we're doing it for you, or a combination thereof. That is our mission. So before we go on to the next slide, which actually is a video, I'll just take a moment to explain the developers of this content for you. It was created by a company called Keap. And if you're not aware of who Keap is, you probably have heard about Infusionsoft, CRM and marketing automation platform that's been around for quite a few years, I think about 20. So this past spring, I guess, maybe before that, Infusionsoft rebranded and called themselves Keap. Because they wanted to help more businesses than they were currently helping. Infusionsoft was really on the level of Salesforce and some of the bigger CRMs, which were just too complicated for the average small business, and price-wise, they were just unreachable as well. So what they did was they rebranded to Keap, and they developed 2 new platforms for the small business specifically. The first one's called Keap Grow. So it helps you to get organized so you can deliver great service and close more business. The next one is Keap Pro, and that one's a complete sales and marketing toolkit that allows you to customize and consistently win business. And then finally, there's still Infusionsoft by Keap, and that one's for anyone looking for an all-in-one CRM, sales and marketing automation platform. It does everything from your day-to-day emails to triggered campaigns to e-commerce and affiliate programs if you're so inclined to build an affiliate program. But what Keap actually does is organize leads, helps you organize leads, get work, get paid, and stay connected with your customers, all for that great customer service that you need to provide and in order to build relationships with your clients. So, they put together a series of webinars. I'll have a few more that you can take later on to help you grow your business, stay connected, follow up with your clients, and be more efficient in your overall organization. So the next slide, I'm sure you'll relate to the message that's happening within the video. It's actually a video, and it just kind of shows you a little bit about what the average entrepreneur goes through when they're starting their business and their pain points. And so we'll move forward and let you watch the video. Incidentally, this video, it's called Quiet the Doubters, and it first aired in January on YouTube, and it's had over 3 million views since then. So apparently, whatever I try to do to make this video play for you in a recorded webinar or a live webinar does not seem to work. It takes too long to load. So hopefully you read the information provided with the email that gave you this recording, and you watched the video in advance of the webinar. But even if you didn't, you can always go back to the email and click the link to the video and watch it afterwards. But basically, the video is going through a couple of different entrepreneurs that have started businesses and they're struggling to make them work, and listening to their friends and family tell them that maybe it's not worth having their own business. Maybe they should go back to work and get a paying job. Well, I'm sure you know yourself that that's not in your cards. That's not what you want to do. That's not where you want to be. You want to build and grow your business. So throughout the video, they basically show these entrepreneurs using the Keap software and getting notifications of new bookings and new payments and how organized they are, etc. And that's the gist of the video. But like I said, go back to the email and click the link and watch it yourself. I'm sure you'll understand what they're trying to say in the video. So we dream big. We empower the entrepreneurial spirit by believing in people and championing their dreams. So saying that is Keap. That is their vision. It's probably one of the most inspiring of Keap's values. That's why we're here today. Dreams are a big part of the fuel of innovation. Achieving your dreams requires measurable goals and a plan, along with hard work, maybe a little good luck, right? So by doing this small business assessment and following through with the planning framework, we hope to take some of that luck out of it and give you more of a reliable way of growing your business than simply hoping and relying on luck. So what we're going to cover today is the purpose of the small business assessment, how to perform the small business assessment, and how to use the small business assessment to begin to plan your smart next steps for success. Now, before we get started, you'll want to have the assessment form we provided to you either printed out in front of you or open in Acrobat so that you can fill it out as we go through the next steps of the small business assessment. So this link takes you to an online document. You don't want to fill it out in your browser because you won't be able to save it from there. So you want to, once it's open in your browser, you want to download it and save it on your computer, then open it in Adobe Acrobat. Once there, you can then fill out the form as we go along throughout the webinar, or print it out and just handwrite the items in as we go. So I'll give you a second to make sure you've got that open. Again, these instructions were in the email that accompanied the recording. So the reason Keap created this particular webinar was they kept hearing questions like these from small businesses. I have an awesome product or service. Why don't people buy it? Well, Without a clear message to a well-defined audience, it's hard for buyers to feel compelled to need your solution. They also heard, this automation stuff's powerful, but where do I even start? So, to answer that by prioritizing strategies and tactics which are closest to cash or low-hanging fruit, you greatly increase your potential for success. So as we go forward, we're going to look at these problems a little bit more closely. When starting a business, it's common for a market segment to be defined, but also somewhat vague. After all, new business needs customers, and you'll serve as many as you can as long as they pay you. When you have that perfect customer, the experience can look something like this, a nice, flowing, step-by-step process. But when they aren't perfect, it can sometimes feel more like this. Here are some of the symptoms you may be experiencing if you're working with too many imperfect leads, prospects, and customers. Low conversion percentage, frustrated customers, time-consuming clients, poor social ratings, high customer acquisition cost, low customer lifetime value, and one fed-up business owner. How many of you can relate to that? I'm sure you can. So all of these symptoms have you and your customer feeling like you're juggling way too much stuff. It's just not where you need to be with your business. So take a look at this picture of the bridge. Notice anything? Would you want to be on that bridge? These issues are the result of being too close to your business, causing you to be unintentionally out of alignment with your ideal customer and out of alignment with where to focus in your business. So our objective is to answer these questions, minimize frustrations, and create consistent alignment in your business through the Small Business Assessment. Small Business Assessment is a 5-phase process for designing, launching, testing, and refining anything in our business. Today, we're going to be looking specifically at the assess phase. So go to the first question in your workbook. Hopefully you've printed it out or you have it open in Adobe Acrobat. And write down what is your biggest goal right now. What aspirations or pains keep you up at night? This question is incredibly important because it should be foundational to everything you do. So next we're going to look at your core product offering. This could be what most of your customers buy or even the thing you're trying to guide a bulk of them to. Take a moment to write that down. As an example, I'm a marketing company. My core product is web design. And the reason for that is that your website is the hub of your marketing. Without a good website, nothing else you do will work as effectively because there's nothing for people to arrive at when you're driving your marketing initiatives to your site. If they get there and there's nothing there, you've lost the battle. They're not going to go further. So that's my core product offering. In the email that you received, you also got a document from me that helps you kind of catalog your various products and determine whether they're primary, secondary, who your market audience is, everything else. If you put all these in a binder and keep them close at hand, you'll never be at a loss for what to write or put together when it comes to developing your marketing plans. So next up is, what is your market segment? Now, if you aren't sure what a market, I'd like to break it down for you now. question we want to answer is, what is a market segment and how is it different from a target market? So target market is a group of consumers or businesses with shared characteristics in demographics or firmographics. Examples might be age, gender, industry, income, revenue, business size, and location. A market segment is a group of consumers or businesses within a target market with shared pain points and/or aspirations. Examples of this might be limited time, working too many hours, inconsistent cash flow, low conversion rates, and feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, or stressed as a result. So now we're going to take a look at your ideal customer. This is the customer most likely to buy your core offering. This isn't necessarily the only customer you'll work with, but it's the one you want to make sure never misses you. If you're like most businesses, defining your ideal customer can be challenging. However, we're now going to go through an exercise that should help simplify the process and provide greater clarity around your target market segment. The example we're going to use for this exercise is a police lineup. That might look something like this. What you want to do is picture the clients that you're currently working with and that you've worked with in the past and line them up in your mind so that you can identify each individual client. What we're going to do is go down the line of each of your clients to identify certain characteristics, and there are 5 characteristics that we'll want to be. So first, we want to identify the clients that just get it. They understand the value of your product or service without a lot of agonizing or convincing. We want to look at those that require less time and energy than other customers to be happy with your services. Third, they produce more profit when they buy and over their lifetime as a customer. Fourth, they refer business to you. And fifth, and probably most importantly, you enjoy working with them. So now you should have been able to identify a few clients who have one or more of your criteria. In fact, you should have at least one who meets all of those criteria. Then what you want to do is take those clients and you want to begin to identify certain details about them. So what do you think? Do you have one client or more that meets all 5 criteria? It's important to evaluate and understand the characteristics and demographics of your ideal customer, but above all else, you need to know their story. What are their dreams? What keeps them up at night? What things in their life are difficult or painful? How do they get there, and what does their future look like, both with and without your solution? The answers to these questions will help you to more effectively communicate your value as it relates to the real-life story of your target audience, and ultimately, what drives their decision-making. So now let's talk about your value proposition. This is also known as a selling proposition or USP. There's all sorts of terms for it. And it's really why you. What do you offer that others don't? By working with you, what will your customers achieve? And by working with you, what will your customers avoid? So here's where you want to really differentiate yourself between your business and your competition. There needs to be a reason why people choose you over the others. Using this information will help you begin to create a story shared by your ideal customers that will not only attract them to your business, but position you as the guide to help them avoid danger. Remember, we can attract every ship at sea here, but we want to make sure when that ideal customer is passing by, our lighthouse is hitting them right between the eyes. So now let's translate and organize the sales and marketing efforts for your core product. offering into the lifestyle marketing framework to identify future plans, gaps, and opportunities to grow sales and/or save you time. Focus on one core product and one market segment to allow you to soft launch a tactic that addresses any gaps or gets you closer to your future plans. Lifecycle marketing breaks down the customer journey and the core sales and marketing functions of a small business into 4 areas: gathering leads, engaging, selling your product or service, and delivering and wowing your clients. So first we're going to look at the gathering leads phase. We want to identify currently what you're doing to gather leads. So answer the questions: how does your target customer find you? Where do you get leads from? And how do you store their information? Also, it's important to understand the size of your contact list and how often you're contacting them via email. Next, we're going to look at the future or ideal reality for gathering leads. Consider these things like lead magnets and focus on away or avoid language. It's important that you capture lead information and trigger follow-up as well. The next phase is the engage phase of the lifecycle marketing. Currently, how many leads per month are you engaging with? How many of those closed quickly and how quickly? Also, what do you offer before they buy? Are you giving them a consultation, a free quote, a free gift, maybe a report? It's important to map out the elements that make up your sales process in engaging with prospects. So now we want to take a look at a future or ideal reality for engaging with prospects and leads. We want to identify the gaps and opportunities in the current follow-up process. Is there a free offer to measure engagement? Are you asking for the sale immediately versus progressive follow-up? Initial communication should build value and trust, and good follow-up should eventually build up to 7 to 9 touch points. In the sell phase, you want to know how your customers currently pay, how much income is generated by this core product offering, and what were last year's revenues. With the future or ideal reality, you'll want to identify sales automation and quote tracking opportunities. Also consider e-commerce for one-time and recurring payments and upsells. And now we get to the deliver and wow phase. First, identify what, if anything, you can upsell when selling this core product. Also, how do you generate referrals from your current customer base? How do you know if your paying customers are satisfied? And how do you know how to improve? How do you stay in touch with your customers after they pay you? In considering the ideal or future reality, you'll want to ask for referrals and incentivize happy customers to generate new business. Also, ask customers for feedback to continually improve your product and processes and give customers the opportunity to enhance the sale through the upsell, upgrades, and the ability to buy again easily. So all this sounds relatively easy until you try to apply it. So I bet you're wondering where you start. So the priority path. As you've outlined your current and ideal reality as it relates to the perfect customer life cycle, you should see some gaps between what you're currently doing and what you could or should be doing in your customer life cycle. Once you've identified the gaps in your customer life cycle, you'll want to proceed to the priority path. Here we've outlined it in a drawing for you. It helps you identify where opportunities are closest to cash or low-hanging fruit in order to get us the greatest return and the fastest impact on our efforts. Through this process, you're going to identify a strategy and a tactic that has the highest priority and is closest to cash in order to optimize or create an opportunity in the perfect customer lifecycle in your business. That could be engaging existing list, capturing leads, systemizing your sales conversion, deliver a stellar customer experience, ask happy customers for referrals, upsell to existing customers, make it easier for them to purchase, nurture the prospects and clients, and generate new traffic. Okay, now you've got your head wrapped around what you need to do next, but how? Well, let's look at the planning framework. This is the second of our five-phase process. We've already talked about assess. Now we're moving into the plan phase. We're going to go over the key components of the planning framework. We've got strategy, tactic, assets, content, tools, skills, owners, and the timeline. Oh boy, sounds like a bunch of jargon, right? Well, don't be afraid. I'm going to break it all down so you can actually make use of these things. I'm sorry about the dingles there coming through. So first up is strategy. It represents what you want to accomplish. So think about it this way. What do you want your client or prospect to do as the end result of this strategy? Is it that you're getting them to fill out a form for leads for consultation? Maybe the strategy is to get people to register for an event. It could be something as simple as booking an introductory meeting with you. There's all sorts of reasons and ways to develop a specific strategy depending on what you want that goal to be. Next area is the tactic. How do you want to accomplish the strategy above? So will you be using Facebook ads? Will you be using direct mail? Maybe it's going to be done through your newsletter. Could be radio, could be TV. It could be a number of different ways, and sometimes it can be more than one way. If you're looking at building a very strong campaign, all with the same strategy and goal in mind. Next up is the assets. So that's how the tactic will be accomplished or experienced. This is also known as a customer journey. These assets could be the graphics that you need. It could be a form that you need. Definitely almost everything involves copywriting. So there's a number of things that have to be put together before you can move forward building out your marketing strategy here. Content. So content is actually part of your assets above, but it's a major portion of the assets. Without content, you can't put together any of the above. You need your copy, you need your graphics, videos, forms. Not all will be needed in every case. Sometimes it's just a document that you need to write and produce into a form that can be either downloaded or mailed or dropped off with a client or prospect. The tools, this is the software or equipment that you need in order to generate and deliver each of the assets or piece of content above. These tools can be, if you plan on sending out a newsletter, your best bet is to have a email marketing software tool. If you plan on delivering or having a form or a landing page, you'll need tools that allow these to be built and used within your framework of your marketing. So, if you have a form, that form has to be somewhere. Is it built into your website? Is it going to be a standalone form that you can email or print out? All these things have to be considered and how they're going to be accomplished. So there are a number of tools on the market, and some of them will do all. Some of them only do specific things. So you really need to take a look at what tools you're using in order to deliver your strategy. Skills. So you've got to have certain skills in order to operate the tools and generate the content and populate the assets. Can you do this? Do you even have the time to do it if you can do it? Is someone in your staff capable of doing it, or do you need to hire someone to do it? Again, a major component that you need to look at when determining how you're going to bring about your next steps in marketing. So now it comes down to the owner. Owner not meaning you as the business owner, owner meaning who's responsible for each step of the process, the skills, the tools, the content, and the assets. And that could be several different people, or it could be all one. But it's determining who is responsible for each step that will make your plan move forward easier if you get that set in writing right from the get-go. And finally, the timeline. When the content or assets will be completed by. So here you want to look at each person that's been assigned a specific task in the project and determine what those deadlines are. Going forward, you'll want to ensure that people are meeting those deadlines so that you can put your plan in place when you had the intent of doing so. There's nothing worse than delays in a project, especially if people are waiting on the information. So, in a nutshell, these are the items that you need in order to start your planning framework. So let's take an example of a planning framework that uses this. Again, we've got our strategy, and in this case, our strategy is to generate new leads. Then we've got our tactic. We're going to use a paid Facebook ad with a free checklist offer to generate new leads. Within this strategy and this tactic, we've got certain assets. We're going to map this out left to right to align with the customer journey. So the first asset that a customer would encounter would be the Facebook ad. We'll need to create that. Second thing we might need is a landing page. And then there's a thank you page when they opt in. Asset number 4 is going to be an email. And this is going to be the delivery email, which probably contains the checklist that they've opted in for. Then a second email. This might be simply confirming that they received the checklist to make sure they downloaded it. These emails might also contain an offer to drive people to opting in for a specific offer or taking advantage of a consultation. Then there's the third email. And we're also going to need that asset of the checklist itself. We can map this out to make sure we understand everything that's going to go into this tactic within this strategy. Now within each asset, there's a certain content that needs to be put in place. Let's first take a look at the Facebook ad. We need graphics and copy. On the landing page, you're going to need copy, a web form, and graphics. Copy and graphics for the thank you page. And the same thing for all 3 of the other emails. On the asset, we need a copy and a call to action, and so on, right down the line. Something to consider in this is that while this may seem very simplistic, it is actually simplified, taking a complex thing and making it easy to comprehend and manage. And it's ensuring that everybody has a clear understanding of everything that is going into this tactic. So next we're going to look at the tools that we need to generate that content. So for the Facebook ad, for example, we need Facebook Ads Manager. We decide that we're going to use Canva for the graphics, Word for the copy. Pretty straightforward. And again, we're going to be clear about how we're doing all of this by identifying the tools that need to be used in order to generate the content for these assets. So as we progress through the various stages, you can see how some of the tools we need change. Next up is skills. The skills piece here drives into the owner, but it helps us to determine who should be doing what. And if we would need to hire some things out, then we're able to identify and specify those things right here in this planning framework. Sorry about that. Next, we identify who has the skills. So here we can see that Christina is going to do our graphics and Michael is going to be in charge of our copy. And right down on the line, identifying the individuals who are going to have the skills to use the tools to generate the content to populate the assets and to execute the tactic. Sorry, I got a little behind there in the slides, but you can see how different people have different assignments moving forward through as the owner. So now that we've got people committed to using their skills to produce our content and assets, we're going to get some commitments on time. When are these things going to be done? Right down the line with every single item. Now that you have a single point of understanding when it comes to your project as to what it's going to include, how you're going to do it, and who's going to be doing what and when, you can set clear expectations for yourself, your team, your vendors, and most importantly, your customers. When the next shiny object comes around inevitably at some point and someone thinks, hey, it'd be really great to do this other thing, you can more easily recognize distractions that are outside the scope of what you're already committed to, which is to efficiently launch a tactic that's going to be closest to cash and is going to be based on the priority path, ensuring that you're building out a solid process in order to get the best results from your sales and your marketing efforts. So that really concludes the webinar for today. All of this takes a little bit of thought and getting accustomed to putting everything down on paper. Too often businesses will just decide, oh, I'm going to try this, but there's no real thought given to how it's going to be accomplished. The more you can sit down and plan things out, the better off you will be, and it doesn't matter whether it's your marketing or anything that you're doing in your business. If it's planned and planned well, it typically will work better. So in the documents that you received in the email, there's some helpful forms and things that you can use to build out your marketing strategies and tactics. Please download them, use them. If you have any questions at all, give me a call. And of course, what would a webinar be without an offer? So as much as I love providing information for people to use and help grow their business. Of course, I need to put food on my table as well. By no means are you obligated to do anything or buy anything. My webinars are always offered as educational pieces, not as a means to sell you something. But I wouldn't be doing my marketing if I didn't at least present it to you. So as I mentioned when we started out this webinar, I am a Keap mentor. I'm a Keap certified, authorized certified partner, and it is a great tool that allows people to start in a small way and grow as their business grows. So here you can see I've got offers for Keap Grow, Pro, and Infusionsoft by Keap. If you're just starting out, Keap Grow might be the one that you start with. It is a lets you manage your contacts and get paid and stay organized. Keap Pro will let you do a little bit more in that you can now build campaigns. There's a pipeline that you can work with. You can do your newsletters right from here and book appointments, monitor everything that has to do with each of your clients and your prospects. And then there's Infusionsoft by Keap. And this one's really for somebody that's a little bit more advanced, has more people on their team, needs e-commerce, needs some really robust systems put in place. So typically I like to put people into Pro when I can because I have the best offer on that. It's $99 US per month. It gives you 2,500 contacts and 3 users. So that allows you to have your team involved in the process as well and assign tasks, and they can send emails and things can be created specifically from your team members if that's the case. As a Keap partner, it also gives me access to your account to help you build things and get things done easier for you. I can also build campaigns that are available and for you to just purchase and plop. I plunk them into your system. But today's offer really is if you book a demo, start a free trial, which is 14 days, or sign up for Keap Grow, Keap Pro, or Infusionsoft by Keap, I will offer you 50% savings on the new user onboarding, which is going to save you $100 to $250 depending on which system you might want. The other things that I've mentioned there, the planning framework document, the marketing asset worksheet, the quarterly goal planning spreadsheet, and the complimentary marketing consultation. Those I'm giving to you regardless, just for attending this webinar. And you do not necessarily have to do the demo trial or sign up for anything to get them. In fact, you've already got them. They came out with this recorded presentation. If you would like to take advantage of the demo or trial, just go to the link that's mentioned on this page, and there's a form you can fill out, and then I'll be in touch with you directly. So thank you for attending. Keep going, keep serving, keep growing. And if you're not ready for any of this just yet, maybe take advantage of my 1-hour complimentary marketing consultation. That's always available. I offer it to anyone at any time. If they just want a sounding board, need some ideas, you've got that 1 hour of free consulting. It's a little bit hard when I don't really know your business right at the get-go, but it certainly can get you moving in the right direction. And please connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Thanks again, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again real soon.